Anthropic just shipped Agent View inside Claude Code, and I will bet you a coffee that 90% of people who read the launch post got two of its features and missed the other 30. So we are going to fix that. This is the complete operator's manual, built straight from the official docs. Every command, every keyboard shortcut, the six states, the peak panel, the Worktree auto isolation that nobody is talking about, the supervisor process model, the five parallel agent recipes that actually work. By the end of this video, you will be able to run 10 Claudes at the same time on your machine without losing your mind and without your concurrent agents stepping on each other's files. Let's go. First, what Agent View actually is. It is a dashboard built into Claude Code that centralizes every background Claude Code session inside one screen, regardless of which project or worktree the session is working in. Each row shows the session's name, what it is currently doing, its state, and an icon shape that tells you whether the underlying process is still alive. If the session opened a pull request, the row also shows the PR link and a status indicator for its CI checks. The thing most people miss on day one is the hosting model. Background sessions are not children of your terminal. They are owned by a per user supervisor process that starts the first time you background a session or open Agent View. That means you can close Agent View, close your shell, start a new interactive session somewhere else, and your dispatched work just keeps going. The supervisor handles the lifecycle. You do not manage it. It also means Agent View needs Claude Code version 2.1.139 or later. Check yours with Claude space dash dash version before you start. Two ways to open it. From any shell, type Claude space agents and press enter. That is the primary entry point. The terminal is taken over. You see a table of every background session grouped by state. And there is an input line at the bottom for dispatching new ones. Press escape anytime to exit. Your sessions keep running. The second way is for when you are already inside an active Claude Code session. On an empty prompt, press the left arrow key. That backgrounds the current session and opens Agent View in one step. It is the fastest way to switch context without ever leaving your terminal. One thing to be careful of. The left arrow shortcut only works from inside an active session. If your shell is cold, that key does nothing. You need Claude space agents to enter from scratch. Anthropic also notes that this shortcut can be disabled in /config if you ever want to. Now the six states. This is where almost everyone gets it wrong because the early summaries floating around the internet got these labels mixed up. Here they are, exactly as the docs spell them. Working is the animated indicator, meaning Claude is actively running tools or generating a response. Needs input is the yellow indicator, meaning Claude is waiting on you, usually a permission decision or an answer to a specific question. Idle is the dimmed indicator, meaning the session is waiting for input but is not blocked on any specific question. Completed is the green indicator, meaning the task finished successfully. Failed is the red indicator, meaning the task ended with an error. Stopped is the gray indicator, meaning the session was stopped manually with Ctrl X or Claude space stop. And there is a second signal layered on top, the icon shape. An animated petal or a still petal means the underlying process is alive and you can reply or attach immediately. A dot means the process has exited, but the state is still on disk and you can peek, reply, or attach to restart it from where it left off. A four petal flower means the session is running on a slash loop, sleeping between iterations, with the row showing its run count and a countdown to the next iteration. Read the indicator for state. Read the shape for liveness. Triage in this order. Yellow first, those block your flywheel. Then green to merge. Then red to diagnose. The cyan and gray rows usually need nothing from you. Here is the single key press that turns Agent View from a status board into a daily workhorse. The spacebar. Select any row with arrow keys, press space, and the peak panel opens. It shows what the session is doing, its most recent output, what it needs from you, and any pull requests it opened. For most tasks, this is enough. You will never open the full transcript. Reply directly in the peak panel by typing and pressing enter. If the session is asking a multiple choice question, the panel shows the options and you press a number key 1, 2, 3 to pick one. If the session is blocked and you do not know what to send, press tab. The input fills with a suggested reply you can edit before sending. If you want to run a shell command in the session, instead of sending a prompt, prefix your reply with an exclamation mark. Use the up and down arrows inside the peak panel to walk through adjacent sessions without closing the panel. This is your morning triage move. Open, agent view, down arrow, space, read, reply, down arrow, space, read, reply. Whole queue cleared in 3 minutes. And if peeking is not enough, press the right arrow to attach. You drop into the full interactive session exactly as if you had run Claude in that directory. Left arrow on an empty prompt brings you back to the dashboard. The whole game is space. Attaching is for the one session that really needs you. Everything else lives in the peak panel. Now dispatching new sessions. The input line at the bottom of Agent View takes more than just plain prompts. Type a plain prompt and press enter. New background session. Auto name from your prompt. You can rename later with Ctrl R. You can paste an image into the input to include a screenshot or a diagram with the task. Start your prompt with a subagent name, and that subagent runs as the session's main agent with its front matter configuration. The explicit form is at sign followed by the subagent name, which you should prefer when there is any chance of a name collision with a repo. Mention at sign followed by a repo name to run the session inside that sibling repository under the directory you opened Agent View from. Slash followed by a skill name dispatches a skill instead of an ad hoc prompt. This is the underrated power move. If you find yourself running the same task over and over, package it as a skill. Now you started from Agent View with 3 keystrokes instead of retyping the whole prompt. Type a hash followed by a number or paste a pull request URL. If a session is already working on that PR, Agent View jumps to it instead of dispatching a new one. The same input line also accepts filters. Type a :name to show only sessions running that agent. Type s::state, like s::blocked, to show only sessions in that state. These are filters, not dispatches. Use them when your list grows past 10 and you want to triage quickly. Finally, Shift plus Enter dispatches a new session and immediately attaches you to it. Use that when you want to watch the first few turns before letting the agent run on its own. Now, the feature that genuinely changes how aggressively you can run parallel agents. Worktree auto isolation. Every background session, whether you started it from agent view, from slash background, or from Claude --bg in the shell, begins in your working directory. But it is blocked from writing files there. The moment Claude needs to edit a file, it is moved automatically into an isolated Git worktree under .claude/worktrees. Reads still hit the real checkout, so parallel sessions share the same context. But each one writes to its own worktree. No file edit collisions between concurrent agents. By design, there are three exceptions to the block. Sessions that are already inside a worktree are not moved again. Directories that are not Git repos do not get the auto worktree treatment. And writes outside your working directory are not blocked. The worktree follows the session lifecycle. When you delete a session, its worktree is removed. So merge or push the changes you want to keep before you delete. To find a session's worktree, peek it or attach and check its working directory. If you want a specific subagent to always run in its own worktree, regardless of how it was started, set isolation : worktree in its front matter. The reason this matters: the old advice for parallel agents was always be careful. Scope each agent to one folder. They will fight over files. That advice does not apply here. Claude Code handles it for you. You can dispatch 5 agents into the same repo with overlapping tasks, and they will not corrupt each other's edits. Your concurrency concern shifts from preventing collisions to remembering to merge before delete. That is a massive difference for how aggressively you can dispatch. The keyboard shortcuts that turn this into a power tool. You already know space for peek, arrows for navigation, enter to attach or dispatch, and shift plus enter to dispatch and attach. Here are the rest. Alt plus 1 through Alt plus 9. Attach directly to the nth session in the focused group. So if you have 3 sessions in the needs input group, Alt plus 1 through Alt plus 3. Jump straight to them without navigating. Control S switches the grouping between state and directory. Your choice is saved across runs. Control T pins or unpins the selected session at the top of its group. Control R renames the selected session. Control G opens the dispatch prompt inside your $editor variable, useful for longer prompts. Control X stops the selected session. Press it again within 2 seconds to delete it. On a group header, Control X deletes every session in that group after a confirmation. Shift plus up arrow and Shift plus down arrow reorder the selected session inside its group. Tab on an empty input browses every dispatchable subagent or applies the highlighted suggestion when suggestions are showing. Escape closes the peek panel, clears the input, or exits agent view entirely. Control Z is the escape hatch for when a dialog has focus and is not responding to left arrow. And press the question mark key anytime to see the full shortcut sheet. Anthropic notes that this is a research preview and the shortcut sheet may grow as the feature evolves. So check the question mark page after each Claude Code update. Now the shell commands. Every background session has a short ID that gets printed when you dispatch it. 6 commands let you manage sessions from outside agent view, which is what you want when you are scripting or when you just need a fast check. Claude space attach plus the ID attaches you to that session in the current terminal. Same as pressing enter or right arrow on its row inside agent view. Claude space logs plus the ID prints the recent output of a session without attaching. Perfect for a fast read or for piping into another tool. Claude space stop plus the ID stops a session. Claude space kill is the alias. Claude space respawn plus the ID restarts a stopped session with its conversation intact. Claude space respawn dash dash all restarts every stopped session at once, which is exactly what you run after you wake your machine. Claude space rm plus the ID removes a session from the list permanently, along with its worktree. There is one piece of behavior that catches people. After a session has finished and sat unattached for about an hour, the supervisor stops its process to free resources. The transcript and state stay on disk. The next time you attach, peek, or reply, the supervisor starts a fresh process from where it left off. There is a small delay the first time you touch it again. That is normal. Sessions that are working or waiting on you are never stopped this way. They only get suspended when they are completely idle. Now, the actual workflows. 5 recipes for parallel agents that are worth your time. Recipe 1. Review while you build. Foreground session writes the next feature. Background session started with Claude --bg, reviews a pull request and flags test coverage gaps. When the reviewer surfaces in needs input state, space peek the verdict, decide, move on. You ship twice the feature work and you never skip code review. Recipe 2. Doc scraper plus builder pair. Background session scrapes a docs site and produces a single markdown digest of every webhook event. Foreground session builds the integration using whatever the scraper has produced so far. Different parts of the context. Zero conflict. Worktree isolation guarantees no file collisions. Recipe 3. The 5 agent test sweep. Spin up 5 background sessions, one per major subsystem, each running its own targeted test suite plus fix loop. Agent view becomes a triage screen. Yellow rows are sessions blocked on a decision you need to make. Animated rows are still working. Give them a minute. Green rows are completed. Merge their PRs. Red rows failed. Open them and diagnose. Recipe 4. The 2-track architecture decision. Have 2 background agents implement the same feature with 2 different architectures. One uses Postgres triggers. The other uses a worker queue. Each gets its own worktree automatically. Diff the results in 20 minutes instead of having to pick blind. The best decision-making tool you have right now is parallel exploration. Recipe 5. Overnight long runners. Before end of day, dispatch Claude --bg with a migration script plus a verification suite. The agent runs while you sleep. In the morning, agent view tells you exactly which sessions finished cleanly, which are blocked on input, and which failed. One reminder: background sessions are local. They do not survive sleep or shutdown. Either run them on a desktop or always on machine, or wake up before checking. Pick one recipe, run it for a week, only add a second once the first one feels automatic. Quick personal ask before the final recap. 90% of people watching this will take the AI advantage and leave. But the people who subscribe early usually win early. On Facebook, subscribe is the supporter button. On YouTube, it's free. If these videos give you an edge, join us. If you found this useful, comment the word Agent View below this video, and we will send you the Agent View playbook as a free PDF. Every command. The full 6-state cheat sheet with colors and icons. Every keyboard shortcut. The dispatch patterns. The Worktree isolation rules. The supervisor process diagram. The 5 parallel agent recipes laid out as templates. Your daily flow timeline. And the anti-patterns to avoid when running 5 plus Claudes at once. All on one PDF. Paste ready into your terminal. Comment, agent view, and it is yours. While you are at it, check the 4 paid guides linked below the video. The Claude Code Guide, the Codex Guide, the Claude Cowork Sales Playbook, and the Claude Certified Architect Prep Kit. They are battle tested and they pair perfectly with what you just learned. The Tmux grid is dead. Long live the dashboard. Catch you in the next one.